here. You join me at fairly near the bottom of my garden, under my fairly old, well, very old apple tree, from a very murky, foggy, chilly Northamptonshire. And what follows will be my VR to the Mindful Pipe. And he has asked us what Christmas means to us. So this was a little while back, maybe about a week or so. So I've had a bit of a chance to think, and I shall put a few points across here now. So as I stand here in the garden, all the apple trees have shed their leaves. We've had the last of the fruit in for storage, and behind me, just here, is a rather lovely holly bush, sporting a nice a crop of bright red berries, which is what I always hope for in the garden. Some years it varies as to how good it is, but speaking of the holly, this is one thing that leads me nicely into what Christmas means to me. So from my point of view, being a gardener and having to work with the seasons all the while, I would say that Christmas to me is more about the season in which it falls. So traditionally I like to think of the period as being cold and you know, hopefully there might be a bit of frost on the ground and a bit of winter sunshine just warming you, and all those sorts of things in terms of weather. And I love the structural elements of bare trees and shrubs, and the garden as it essentially goes into its dormant mode. And again, this is part of the season during Christmas time, as we come into December here. And as I say, it's the material things for me that don't really hold an awful lot of attraction for me. So I associate Christmas, and what makes it for me is a traditional season. And like I said by that, I mean some nice brisk chilly weather, and especially on Christmas Day it's lovely if it's you know, if there's been a really good frost and the sun comes out and you can get out for a nice walk and that sort of thing. And I really do love that. And also at this time of year, horticulturally speaking, there are lots of lovely things. Like I say, the holly. Lucky enough to have a couple of quite substantial specimens in the garden, and this year they have produced wonderful berries. I don't have lots and lots of evergreen, but I do have quite a bit of ivy and various other bits and bobs that take on, you know, a bit more importance in the garden as lots of things do shed their leaves. The evergreens, they hold on to a bit of structure and colour, and these things, you know, during Christmas I love to perhaps bring into the house. I'll make a nice wreath for the front door, and I might also complement it with some extra things from work. So there might be some Christmas tree trimmings, there might be some yew, there might be some variegated evergreens of some sort, but for me that's sort of one of the elements that I love the most, is having all the best bits of the season, horticulturally speaking. And the material things, there's some lovely things to be had. It's pleasant to receive a gift or a present, and it's also pleasant to give a present or a gift. But that's not really the main thing for me. I think as we get older, it's a period of a break from work for a couple of days, and maybe even a slightly more extended holiday if you're lucky. Definitely a bit more time for a bit of this. And of course some lovely food and a little bit of a drink here and there, although I'm not a huge drinker. It's pleasant to have some little luxury treats here and there, but as I say, that's not you know, my main sort of reason for having a good or bad Christmas. Obviously, Christmas time is generally a time when I get together with the family, whether we spend Christmas Day with family or not depends on what's going on. So that's another element that I do enjoy, is seeing my extended family. You know, a chance to get together and catch up, because I'm sure is the same with lots of people. We have busy lives, and it's a time just to slow down a bit and catch up and touch base. So that's something else, another element of Christmas I enjoy. So they're the positive sides, and I think they're the things that everybody, I think, enjoys. So fairly stereotypical, I suppose. I'm quite a traditionalist, as you might have gathered. But the commercialisation of Christmas, I think, can be a bit tedious, and I think can be a bit over the top. So let me think, what else? So had a nice little bit of food, had a bit of a break from work. We've had a few things brought in from the garden to help decorate the place a little bit. Oh, that's the other thing, decorations. Now, I'm not opposed to some festive decorations. Indeed, we'll put a few decorations up when we have a tree. But you can go over the top, and I think some people do go absolutely mad, and that's something I'm not a huge fan of. The house and grounds that I work at, in the house and the hall, it's done up more or less like a grotto. So there are things hanging from everywhere, there's lights everywhere, and it's okay, I suppose, if you want the full-on Christmas assault, but it's not quite for me. So yes, the decor I don't mind a bit, but I like my traditional decorations. Not too many lights, and I quite like the sort of the natural seasonal adornments that one can come across for indoors. So the other thing that I might add is being quite an outdoorsy sort, and being gardening and as I say, enjoying the exterior during all the seasons. One thing that I am very, very keen on at Christmas is to sit back and enjoy my open fire, and indeed my log burner as well. And this is one of the things I most enjoy this time of year, is making sure that the stocks of logs are well kept, and that we don't have to do too many impromptu trips to get more in. And now is the time to kick back and enjoy the warmth from the work and the effort put to creating the firewood, and that's one thing I really couldn't do without at Christmas, is a nice open fire and my log burner. So that's an essential element of Christmas, and I find it difficult to spend an awful lot of time somewhere that doesn't have those things. It's something very settling to me, and again, another wonderful festive thing, especially at Christmas. It can make a lovely atmosphere, and that's one thing that when we have visitors, they love, is to come and sit around the fire. So that pretty much sums up the elements that makes Christmas for me. There are a lot of traditional elements that I like to have a hint of. I don't go into for Christmas in a huge way, as some people do, but then if people enjoy it, I don't begrudge it them. If they want to start putting decorations up, at the end of October, then that's fine. But I can steer myself away from those things, and I can stay away from the shops to a certain amount, because we just seems to be bombarded with things right from the end of bonfire night onwards. Is fair game for getting the Christmas stuff out. So there we have it. Not so much in a nutshell, but no pun intended, I like nuts at Christmas also. I think that pretty much sums up what makes Christmas for me. And I do share some of the points that were raised by the Mindful Pipe, in that he can sometimes find a bit too much in terms of people and wanting to just be alone. And actually I do share elements of those feelings occasionally. Not being a hugely sociable person, I do try, and I do enjoy other people's company, and I love to catch up with my family, but sometimes it's nice just to be on your own and with your own thoughts, and I hope to achieve a bit of that at Christmas also. So that's one other element that I think is fairly important for me. So there we are. I hope that's gives you a little insight to my what makes Christmas for me, and I shall look forward to seeing other entries and seeing what other people have to say. And I would like to say all the best to the Mindful Pipe, and keep the pipes puffing and keep the cameras rolling. Cheerio for now.